Joining me now, a man who knows basically no limit given his talents, talk show host and columnist for the Boston Herald. It's our friend Howie Carr. So, Howie, how did Westminster move front and center in the debate on big tobacco?
Oh, JD, as you well know, Massachusetts is thick on the ground when it comes to these crazy moonbats with their ideas about telling other people how to live. And this is just the latest example. This isn't going to stop anybody from smoking. It's a few miles from the New Hampshire border, as if there weren't enough reasons to leave Massachusetts to go to New Hampshire, so you don't have to pay deposits on beer cans or bottles or soda cans. You don't have to pay sales tax on anything. You can get gas cheaper. They just want to give people another reason to leave Massachusetts to shop in New Hampshire. I can't imagine this is going anywhere.
So the guys in New Hampshire are real happy about this, but
absolutely.
But when push comes to shove,
well, they should be. Well, we had the case here a couple of years ago. There a place called Concord, which, if anything, is even more she and trust funded than Westminster, Massachusetts. And they all said, "Oh, I think we're going to get rid of bottled water. Oh, it's so nasty to see these people buying bottled water, these workmen, these tradesmen drinking it up and then throwing it away because there's no deposit." So they banned bottled water in the town of Concord. Do you know what happened 3 days later, JD?
What happened?
The water main broke in the town of Concord. There was no water. Do you know what the state had to do?
Bring in bottled water.
Yes. Yes.
It's almost as if the Almighty has a sense of humor. Like every time there's a conference on global warming, what happens? The temperature plunges below zero. And so you're telling me in Concord they were going to get rid of bottled water.
They had gotten rid of it. They'd done it. No one, everyone's, oh my God, I have no water. They said, just go to the stores and get, oh, that's right. You don't have it in the stores anymore. So the state had to literally ship in tens of thousands of cases and pallets of bottled water to get Concord through this emergency. You're right; it was like a joke from God, and that was the last we heard of any kind of a ban on bottled water in Concord. This is ridiculous, JD. We just on Tuesday voted down an automatic increase in the gas tax in Massachusetts. This was another one favored by people from Concord and Winchester. They wanted to jack the price up with no vote by the legislature and drive the prices even higher and force more people to drive to New Hampshire or Connecticut or Rhode Island to buy their gasoline. And the people voted that down because they knew it was ridiculous. It was just a new way to increase taxes for the beautiful people. I can't imagine this thing going anywhere.
But it has been interesting, at least in, I would imagine, during recent years, because usually government kind of sotto voce says you got to keep selling tobacco because of the taxes we are able to get off of it. So this ban, even for those folks who are in love with taxes, would seem to be a ban too far, if you will.
Well, yeah, this is the ironic thing, JD. As you know, the way these things work, what they do is they say, well, we want to decrease smoking, so we're going to raise the price, the tax of cigarettes. So then the people either start buying cigarettes in a lower cost state like New Hampshire when it comes to Massachusetts, or they stop smoking altogether. So the revenue to the state goes down, and so then the state raises the revenue again, and then it becomes a spiral. And as you know, also, JD, we just talk about big tobacco. Big tobacco is really federal government and state government. They make a hell of a lot more money off packs of cigarettes than the actual people who produce them and actually have to go out and grow the tobacco and buy the tobacco and then set up factories to make the cigarettes. And that's the way it goes here. And it's the same thing. They also tried to outlaw. They wanted to put a tax most recently in Massachusetts on a deposit tax on bottled water containers. Did that have anything to do with litter? Hell no. It had to do with the fact that if for every 5-cent deposit that isn't reclaimed by the person who bought the bottle, the 10 cents or the 5-cent deposit goes to the state. So the state was looking at a way not to cut down on the litter, but to collect another $30-50 million a year in unclaimed bottle deposits. All of these things are scams if you look into them for more than 5 minutes. They're all just ways to get more money into the hands of big government as opposed to big tobacco or big water or big oil.
And Howie, only 2 minutes left for our discussion, but 2 minutes on amnesty. When all is said and done, hearing what the president has had to say, do you expect him to move forward with executive ordered amnesty?
Yes, JD, I do, and I think that he does not care that this is going to be as disastrous to the Democratic Party as it's going to be to the whole American society as a whole. He doesn't care. I mean, he thinks this is his way to fundamentally transform America by bringing in, George Bush used to make jokes, not jokes, they weren't jokes to him, they were jokes to the people who heard it. He would say, well, they're only coming in here to do the jobs that Americans won't do. Well, after this past election, when you look at the scale of the vote against the Democrat incumbents, it's obviously that one of the jobs that the illegal aliens are being brought in here, a job to do that the American people won't do, is vote Democratic. Even the Hispanics who are legal citizens have said, "Hey, no mas, we can't take it."
Less than a minute remains. 30 seconds on this, Howie. We just had Congressman Joe Barton on. He says if the president moves forward, impeachment is a viable alternative the House and the Senate would have to consider.
I don't think they have the votes in the Senate. Obviously, they need 2/3. They've only got 54 Republicans even now. But even if Joe Manchin switches, they're still short. I don't see it happening. But I'd go with the Sessions way, is just to cut the spending whenever they can, wherever these green cards pop up in any kind of line item. Cut the line item. Cut it drastically.
A good point, and that's where we'll have to stop because we don't want to cut you off, but there is the element of time. Howie Carr, as always, we thank you for Skyping in from Boston, and America's Forum will continue following this Newsmax Now update.